before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. We back. Are we back? Are we back?
I think the internet can hear us again. It's been
We
3
back,
months,
bitches.
too long.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, after a long hiatus of, life, successes, celebrations, and all that stuff. Ladies and
It's not how you
gentlemen.
spell hiatus, but okay.
Well, you know what I mean. But
Yeah, I know.
ladies and gentlemen, let me say this right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back. Yep, we're back. Thank you guys for stopping by. Shout out to people in the chat. Obviously, we cannot forget about some of the wonderful people in the chat, and also you guys support along the way. First of all, we got a fan favorite for Jay King. We got Trash Can Wave up in the building. Trash Can Wave, good to see you. Good to see you. We got Wally. We got Wally. Hello, sweetheart.
You gotta talk about it. Come on, man. Look, the video's already up. Okay, just talk about it.
Yes. I'm off the market. Sorry, ladies. Yes. Y'all, I was been busy.
He ain't available no more, people. He ain't available no more.
Not only did I graduate, I got engaged. So that too. Hold on, let me get the sound effect too. We upgraded, y'all. We upgraded. I get the clap on that. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I got engaged and everything to Miss Tamika in the chat, Mrs. Sowell, soon to be. Yeah. So yeah, it's all right. Good to see you, sweetheart. 1 second. Shout out to Beautifully Animated. Thank you for stopping by. By the way, I'm gonna tell you this. A shout out to another content creator or friend of mine, Dusto, Scam Likely. Shout out to the Dusted for your Black Man Unfiltered. Listen, I have not seen a collection of wigs in this space unlike you. I gotta say, you are versatile with it. What you did with Tasha K in that last video, I broke character, obviously. So, but yeah, no, that you're incredibly funny and everything. But and also, tremendous support from you and everything. Appreciate you for stopping by. We got Foolish Scholar in the building. Foolish Scholar is in the building. Yes, shout out to Foolish Scholar, man. Good to see you, man. And thank you, Kay, for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by, man. Okay, Jay King, Uh oh. We got Sir Ronan.
Hey,
we got Sir Ronan up in the building. We got Ronan in the building, man. So, I'm actually gonna send the link for you to come for obviously the Last of Us conversation though. But But yeah, y'all. But thank you for stopping by. Any content creators, make sure you guys drop your links in the chat here. Want to show you guys to show support as well. And making sure they're you guys are being shown and everything like that. But yeah, man. So J King, how have you been? How you been? Let me give you the close up.
Oh, not the close up. Oh dear God. I have been good. I know you guys have not seen us for a long time. You know how he's been. I mean, the video's up online. By the way, you guys are welcome for that video again, Mike and Tamika. But I've been
Thank you.
good. I've just been living. Happy 2023, guys. Yeah, I know. The last time you saw us, it was still 2022, and now it's the new year. Things have passed. Things we'll discuss in today, but you know, I've just been living, just been trying to get through, and I'm about to hopefully make 2023 my year. So we'll see how that all goes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you for stopping by, being the co-host of this platform and everything. But yeah, you made an amazing video. For that was our engagement announcement video. So I thank you, and also Tamika said thank you as well. If you guys didn't know, the Easter egg that was a rip off of Deadpool announcement. So,
Mhm.
but yeah. And just kind of giving you just a before we get into the start of the show and everything. I also guys just want to give you just a foreseen look ahead in terms of what this platform is now. Obviously, just graduated and getting married and all those other things, but now this channel we're going full throttle and we ain't stopping. So again, we have a ton of content that's gonna be coming up soon, and we got plans in store for you guys. So I just got to make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Also, give us feedback. If any ways of improvement, please let us know. There's no anyone no exempt from constructive criticism, nor myself. So I just want to make sure that we continually are building on this platform, but we're just growing as content creators, especially in this dialogue and these discussions we're having. We're talking about all things comic books and other things like that. So yeah. So first of all, let me go to the some hot items of the day. So obviously you see the thumbnail. We have The Last of Us. We got end of Marvel Phase 4, the beginning of Marvel Phase 5. We have a ton of actors who are now, by the grace of God, who are recovering from injuries and situations. We got some actors now are getting tried for manslaughter and having that discussion and everything. And now also, if you're a DC fan, hey, you might be in store for something next in the coming weeks of announcements and everything. Now being a DC fan, that you can have something to stand on. Lack thereof, for what you guys experienced in the last 20 years. But anyway, but yeah, I just want to get started on the show. So let's get on to the main topic. First of all, Marvel Phase 4 has come to an end, and Marvel Phase 5 has begun. Yes, we're in
Mhm.
2023 at the end of after the last film that came out in November, which was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and now we're into the new year of 2023, beginning with the first film, Marvel's Phase 5, which is going to be Ant-Man: Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, coming in February 17th of next month, just a month away, y'all.
Mhm.
Before we get into that discussion, just want to play a little video there, and we'll be right back.
I'm Miss Minutes, and it's my job to catch you up, so let's not waste another minute. Settle in, sharpen your pencils, and check this out.
You like that shit?
Oh yeah, that was good. That was good, man. That was good, man.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah, like I said, Marvel Phase 4 comes in, and now we're starting Phase 5. So now we're gonna go give a look up, a recap of just in terms of what we experienced in the last, almost 2 years, beginning of 2021, right?
Yeah.
This is now this phase obviously coming after the conclusion of
The
with the
Infinity
Infinity
Saga.
Saga and with
Mhm.
Spider-Man Far From Home, and now we're going to the Multiverse Saga, which was at the beginning of this phase started with WandaVision, the Disney Plus show, and now we got into a bunch of content and everything. We've had major highs in some cases, and we also had major lows in recently, She-Hulk. But listen,
Dude.
yeah, but so we're gonna get into it, y'all. But before actually I'll get into talking about beginning of phase 5, because we have other things we're gonna be talking about. Let's talk about one thing which has been a biggest complaint of Marvel recently the last 2 years, and that hopefully, obviously, we're in the a diverse culture. Obviously, we're black men, good looking black men and everything like that. And obviously we want to be represented, just like other groups and other, agendas out there and everything like that, right? But the question is, begs the question, and everything. Have being woke, has it ruined Marvel? So talking about, has Marvel gone woke, and then because of them focusing on gender, certain topics, and everything like that, has it ruined Marvel Phase 4? So I'll let J King go.
Okay. I knew this was going to be a topic, especially. Okay, so if you guys have seen, Phase 4, what we dealt with for the last 2 years, would have been three if the pandemic didn't happen. But hey, so for the last 2 years, that's definitely been a topic, especially given a lot of the projects that we've dealt with, movie wise and series wise, with Marvel. Is it woke? That's a difficult question. That's a difficult question. But if I were to answer it, uh no. Well, I mean, kinda. But let me explain. Let me explain my reasoning for that. And I'm gonna be kind of brief with this because again, we've had a lot of projects, a lot of movies, and a lot of Disney Plus series. Again, 2021, that was like 5 series, films, and then this year was like 3 films, 3 series, plus two, holiday specials. That was a lot of content, probably the most Marvel has had, rivaling the previous phase. The question of quantity over quality could definitely be brought into play when it comes to phase 4, but it being woke, I mean, as someone who's read the comic books for a long time and has been a part of this whole MCU phase since practically its inception with Iron Man 1, I have to say yes, kind of, but I wouldn't say necessarily that it's a problem in all of the sense. Like, let me explain, and again, I'll try and be brief and put it back to you, Mike. But
Mhm.
we've had a lot of new characters and a lot of new mantles and a lot of new next generations and a lot of new points be brought into the Marvel universe within this space. I mean, think of all the characters we've been introduced to: Miss Marvel, America Chavez, Jane Foster as Thor, Moon Knight, the twins, and Tommy and Billy. Like, there have been so many, Shang-Chi, there's been like so many characters that we've introduced within this phase, a lot of them being my favorites from the comic runs that I've read them from. But I will agree, there's been a lot of new things brought up. Again, when it comes to other things talking about the MCU, like quantity over quality, or is too much good enough? I mean, I could have a discussion about that. I mean, I definitely think that Marvel does have a problem. Like, the problem with Phase 4 is definitely the amount of content. And again, I understand why 2020 was supposed to start this thing if the pandemic didn't hit. But in terms of the content, yeah, we definitely had a lot. Some very good. Like, again, I will always treasure fondly WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Miss Marvel, Wakanda Forever, Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi. I will always treasure those films because they were really good and I loved how they went. But I will say that there was a lot. But in terms of the wokeness, I mean, Marvel has basically just been doing what they've been doing for a long time. I think in terms of it being woke, I think that's just a term that's come with the time frame that they're in. Because remember, we've introduced characters before of all different types of, hey JBS, of all different types of, like, ethnicities and genders and all of that within the Marvel universe for years. But now, given the 20th century, specifically the 2000s, that's definitely a phrase that's come up with a lot of people of, like, oh, Marvel is being woke because we introduced this character, or they might be focusing a little more on this character, or oh, there's a female now leading the Avengers, or oh, now we got a black dude as Spider-Man or whatnot. That's something that always gets brought up when it comes to a legacy character that's a different ethnicity than the original, or a brand new character that's brought up and you wonder why they don't have staying power unless they're just really, really written well. Um, so in terms of wokeness, that's a double edge. You could say yes, but at the same time, if you look back over 100 or 60 some plus years of Marvel, especially at the anniversaries that they've been hitting, I mean, it's kind of always been the thing that's been there. So it's a tough question. It's a tough question to answer, but I'll say yes and no, but you got to look at it from both sides.
Yeah. You're not gonna like what I have to say. But anyway, before I get to my monologue,
let me
before I get to my monologue, before I'm gonna shout out some people in the chat. Shout out to Team JVS shout out to them in the chat. Thank you, man, for stopping by. And I gotta give a special thank you to a returning old friend, to the honest truth, the one person who helped me actually, establish my channel. One of few many people and everything, man. It's been a long time coming and everything. And thank you. Appreciate it. Congratulations, everything. And shout out to Mandrell up in the building though. Yeah, man. No, yeah, we'll have this, The Last of Us, obviously. Episode 2 coming tomorrow. We'll get to that discussion at the end and everything. But we'll get to it. Absolutely. Thank you for stopping by, man. All right, so let me get the
take it away.
Close up, y'all.
Get that close up, sir.
All right. Hey, y'all, how you doing? So I gotta say, in terms of being woke, there's a kind of different discussion about, okay, you mentioned one thing, quantity over quality, which I think that's the biggest thing. That's the definition of this phase of Marvel that we've gone through. Is the fact that we have gotten introduced to so many characters, more than in the last 3 phases of Marvel have ever introduced. We got introduced to Shang-Chi, we got introduced to the Mandarin, introduced to other Agatha Harkness, Monica Rambeau, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. We have Scarlet Witch. We got Loki variants. We got the
Eternals.
and we got the Eternals. 10 characters in Eternals. 10. Right. We also gotten we got She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. We also got Scar, the son of the Hulk, as well. We have Thor. We have Lady Thor. Rest in peace. Potentially, maybe not. We have
Bishop.
Valkyrie. We have Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. We have
Echo.
We have Echo. We have we got Daredevil has returned. We haven't gotten our new Black Panther. Shout out to Shuri. We got T'Challa Jr., the Black Panther to be. We've gotten all these people. We got Namor. All these characters and everything. We got our new Black Widow. We got Elena. We got our new Walmart
Red Guardian.
America. We got Red Guardian. We got the U.S. Agent. All these people, right? We also got introduced to the Midnight Angels, the faction team from the Dora Milaje. We got Riri Williams.
Ironheart. Yeah.
Ironheart. All these characters I'm mentioning. So again, but the question is not about not introducing these many different characters. The question is being woke, the agenda, the message, and all this stuff. Well, honestly, I can say that as much as we can say representation, if any way is very important, never put representation before your characters and before the story, right? As me as African American, I love Black people. I love Black characters, but more importantly, I love established characters. And I think Marvel, unfortunately, because of money, want to go in terms of the safe route and actually, go to catering to these audience, hoping to attract them, not knowing that you basically are giving these lackluster and mediocre characters with really no type of character development whatsoever to establish, or making me even interested to see them in the next property that you have them, in the next introduction of them in the MCU. For example, we've gotten, obviously, I go to recently with She-Hulk. She-Hulk, obviously, Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. But in that show, there's a narrative that's going on. Again, is that not the same. It's also really, a female-centric show or anything. But even just some of the messages that they're kind of conveying, it's like, what was actually her arc as a female character, or just a character in general, right? You can honestly not say at the end. They try to basically cop you out, saying, well, listen, the stereotypical way we end these, Marvel shows or storylines and everything. With the AI Kevin, and everything like that. But honestly, I gotta say, to me, I feel like the agenda has ruined Marvel? Yes, I will say so, because I will say the reason why is because the fact that we've gotten so many introduced to these characters, but the main thing we always keep complaining about as fans is that we're frustrated with the same old, excuse my language, shit, right? So the fact that we've had these mediocre characters been introduced, but also we also have these derivative characters where you're telling me I'm supposed to like them because you just introduce these, and you introduce them into a new storyline or whatever. I'm supposed to like America Chavez, but why? I'm supposed to like I'm supposed to like Kate Bishop Hawkeye because Jeremy Renner's contract is ending and we need someone new. I'm supposed to accept watching Jennifer Walters and Megan Thee Stallion twerk in the office and everything like that. I'm supposed to accept that, but no, right? But I do believe the fact the main thing they have lacked in this phase really is honestly is story development, the way of fully fleshing out these characters, and the fact that they have given we're now into the era of Disney Plus shows now adding to the overall story. I do believe that the content now we are getting is mediocre. Now, I'm not saying anything these characters we got introduced were anyway interesting to me. No, I love Monica Rambeau. Love Monica Rambeau. I love Yelena. I actually do like Kate Bishop. Even then, there's also a controversial thing. A lot of people gave crap for Black Panther, which we even talk about. But I love the fact that what they did with Shuri in that installment and fleshing out her character and actually making that not only that she earned that title not because of lore, but the fact that what that character was in the first movie is not the kid, who scorched such a tradition, just like Mbaku said. And I thought that Marvel did that very well. But in the grand scheme of everything, it's just happening again. We have quantity over quality, and then the fact that they're not actually fully developing these characters. But just because you say, "Oh well, I'm black, like me," "Oh hey, well I'm gay, you should like me," or "Hey, I'm diverse character, you should like me." No, and it actually does us disservice as fans who've been waiting to see ourselves, like people like us, be represented in these roles, in these storylines, in these multi-million billion-dollar properties. So for me, if I'm speaking on behalf of just terms of us as people being represented, I feel they need to focus on what actually got them here in the first place as a studio. Is focusing less of terms of quantity, but more on quality of these characters, fleshing them out, and hopefully getting to a point of not only not making these characters relatable, but also just not putting the agenda or the message before the character in the story.
Oh, you want me to say something?
Oh no, I thought I was just waiting for you to say something back. You disagree,
Okay,
sir?
okay. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna fully disagree. I definitely do see, like, again, I really have to look back at this past phase again. We had a lot of content. But I won't disagree with you when saying quantity over quality is definitely their biggest problem. And I definitely like saw in the chat somebody said that it's not catering to the audience; it's catering to the higher ups that think they know what the audience is. I can agree with
That's a
that
very good point,
as
beautifully
well.
animated.
Like,
Very good point.
I think when it's coming to that, it's not that I don't want to see these characters, because again, pretty much all of these characters that have been introduced in Phase 4, I already care about them because again, I'm a comic book reader. I have read the stories of America Chavez and Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop and the Eternals and Shang-Chi well before, they made their way onto the big screen. All right. I'm a big fan of a lot of these characters. And for some that I maybe wasn't too much of a fan of, I became a fan of them because of their show or movie. But I will say, yeah, there was a problem with quality over quantity. There was a lot. And again, I get it. Like the past 2 years, I get it wasn't supposed to be like that. I know the pandemic screwed them up because it was maybe going to last a little bit longer and not be, so, you know, like we got a whole bunch every year, especially in 2020. But when it comes into the characters themselves, like personally, as someone, again, as someone who already knows about these characters, I already care about them. What I'm hoping for is for the general audience that does not know about these characters or doesn't really know about these characters like I do, or like many others who have been reading these for like 60 years do, to fall in love with them, even if it's not in an instant, to understand why these characters are so beloved. And while some like Shuri, Kamala, Kate, they definitely got it right in those situations. There are some that maybe, or more or less, like didn't really get it the correct way. It's not about And again, it never was in the comics about, oh, they're a female version of Thor, so you should like me. No, there's a reason why, even though there are some people that just didn't like her having the hammer in the comics, there's a reason why a lot of people advocated for Jane Foster's Thor because of her story. But in the movie, I still like Natalie Portman's performance, but still, it's like, it's really the process of quantity over quality. Like, if there needs to be a little less projects in a year, I'm fine with that. But also it needs to be how you treat these characters and it being a a service to the story and all of that.
Hmm.
It's how you
Yeah.
treat the characters. Like, I don't need to know everything about them from the get-go. I mean, Iron Man's journey was literally within his first 3 films slash every single one of his appearances. Like, his character developed as every single time we saw him. But there,
Hmm.
as you said, there needs to be a development with these characters. Some characters got that within this phase, ones whether we've seen them since the last phase or not. Some didn't, and I think definitely when it comes to phase 5, like, I'm excited for phase 5. I'm excited for this multiverse saga, and I'm so ready for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium next month. Like, that is probably one of my most anticipated outside of, well, non-MCU related Spider-Verse. But there is a problem when it comes to the amount, not necessarily the amount of content, but necessarily how you're handling the content.
Well, I actually want to go into, like, we conclude this topic after we go into this one here. Because
Mhm.
the reason why I brought this one up here, this topic of this one, because recently there's a big, obviously as Black people, there's a big conversation with this character. One second, right here,
Oh yeah.
right. So, obviously, shout out to Team.
Princess, or now we should say Queen Shuri, the new Black Panther. Again, if you've seen Wakanda Forever, if you haven't yet, and you were waiting for that February Disney Plus release, well, I mean, you already know. You already know it's in the marketing.
Yeah, it's gonna be coming a little, yeah, coming a little bit soon, but been delayed in the marketing though. But the reason why I did this in terms of talking about with Shuri, because obviously this is a big controversial topic, like who should have been Black Panther, but also the whole thing about a woman actually winning in a fight with Namor, and and overpowering him and basically burning his back up and giving him a sunburn, clipping his damn wings off and stuff, But then this dude, just took 3 water balloons and drowned her mama and everything, and took control of Wakanda like 15 minutes, and grieving over a brother, all those things. But for me, I actually felt there was a lot of not only saying the representation of, oh, look at these women taking control of this nation or everything. If anything, it shows the importance of us as Black men and women actually being unified together, and what happens when you do have a loss of a strong Black male figure. What that do to the women of that nation? What they have to do in order to actually prevail and actually have that security as much as they can, because they have the backbone, of their nation, and then not knowing if they react, in a certain way or whatever it might be, can lead to their downfall. But also seeing also men of leadership step up. For example, in Baku, in the first movie, people got complaints of him just being angry, not actually being like a dumb monkey, monkey and all stuff, metaphorically speaking. But uh right, it's like, but the fact that in this role, I saw there was actually growth to him because of Chadwick Boseman, of terms of his character and what they established in him, saying, listen, it's like, now I have to be a leader of my nation. Just as in the waterfall fight, he said, listen, you want to kill me to be king, but your people need you. And as the time when the Queen Ramonda passed away, he stepped up and actually act as, you want to say, as a masculine figure, protecting Black women, right, and comforting Shuri when she was all just in a, blinded by rage, rightfully so, and being, and trying to go kill Namor. But is this because, oh well, she's a woman, and all these other things like that? That's what I got very frustrated with this, because that again has wokeness ruined Marvel. I did say yes in terms of the greater scheme of terms of being corporate mindset, instead of actually letting the stories and these characters that you established the last 10 years be the foundation, not switch up just for an extra dollar. That's why I said it ruined it. But with this film, you would think people like, oh yeah, the feminism in Black and Wakanda Forever, man, messed me up. No, I saw a story about grief. I saw a story about people dealing not only different stages of grief, because we've seen that with WandaVision, but I also saw that as Black people, how we operated when we have lost, we lose, male figures. That when we see our women being put in positions of taking leadership, and also the absence of men actually cultivating them in the way as they should be, in a way so that we both can be unified to build the kingdom that we say we are, kings and queens. Man, don't get me started. But anyway, that's why I just want to conclude it with that though. So obviously, we have differences of opinion of that, but again, it's like I'm not saying it's a blatant statement saying that okay, well, are they doomed to happen? I'm saying they continue on this trajectory of saying that, well, we're gonna just air out just a bunch of characters, whatever, see whatever sticks. But also like, well, we gotta have a gay character, we have a Latino character, and all stuff like that. But then okay, cool, all right. I mean, you can speak Spanish, Mises Madres, was America Chavez, but like I want actually a full developed story with you instead of you just being, you know, just being a placeholder just for the message.
And
That's
the
I think
thing,
that's a lot of people's
and,
frustration over it.
and the thing also about these characters is that even if their nationality or their like sexuality was a part of their character, it never was the forefront when it came to those characters and their stories within the novels and within the comic books. Like, yeah, America Chavez may be, have had two mothers, may be into women and maybe Latino, but that was never always the I mean, it was part of her identity, sure, but it never was always like the forefront of her character. It was more or less why her character is the way she is. And that can go over the same for like a lot of things. Like when it comes to, you know, new characters or characters of certain races, especially as people have viewed them in like the last decade when it comes to Marvel, people just see the race or the color. It's never been about that within the story. It's always about who they are. So yeah, that definitely is something that really needs to be portrayed now more than ever. Quantity over quality this time.
Hmm. Yeah, but let us guys know what you guys think about the topic we just say is being woke has ruined Marvel in terms of what the content they've been putting since like the last about 2 years in Marvel Phase 4 from 2021 to now. Please let us know in the comment section down below. All right, now we're gonna get into the next topic. 1 second here. Look at me, struggle streaming already. It's okay. But yeah, guys, as we're saying that we're concluding the phase of Marvel Phase 4, and now we're in 2023, beginning of Phase 5, and we got a couple movies that will be coming out soon. And then we also got some of these trailers that came out soon. We have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania, the trailer they just released about I think a week or two ago. But we also have Guardians of the Galaxy as well. But let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 first, because and then Ant-Man is coming out recently though. So I mean, in the next month. But let's start with Guardians of the Galaxy. So you saw the trailer? What was your thoughts on the trailer?
Um, well, I mean, first off, the trailer which came out after the holiday special, which by the way, I really did like the holiday special. Um, the trailer is everything that I need to see when it comes to this film. I'll see the second trailer when it comes out, but regardless, it gives the feeling of like, oh yeah, this is the end. Like as James Gunn said, this is the end, not just his end with Marvel because this is his end, and then after that he's going over to DC. But this is the end of the Guardians that we've known since Phase 2. This is the end of Star Lord. This is the end of Drax, more or less, because I think Batista's definitely done. This is the end of Mantis, the end of Nebula, the end of Gamora, and most likely the end of Rocket as well. This trailer, like everybody associate like the first movie, people associated them with like, oh, they're the Space Avengers, a little goofy, but also the heart. The second movie, people could maybe say like, it's a little more sillier, but it still had that heart there. This trailer, I just felt the full on seriousness that came with like, oh yeah, someone or a collective group of some people may die. And the Guardians of the Galaxy have had many members over the years within the comics, so I know that this won't be the full on end of them. But in terms of the story that we've been seeing since what was it, like 2014, I think it was. This is the end of something that we've been watching for a
Yeah,
long
it was
time, and I'm
2014, so
definitely
it's been almost 10 years.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been almost 10 years for them, and to see how their story is gonna end, I'm very, very excited to see how it ends, and I know that that one, out of a lot of the films, not just within Marvel, but a lot of the films for this year is definitely gonna be a tearjerker.
Oh yeah. I think that with this film, because obviously Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one was a massive hit. I really could not stand the second one. I was just being honest with you, but I did love the Christmas special. I love the Christmas special, but what they did here, in this trailer is not, bringing back the feels of them being a family and everything, them being misfits and stuff, being a unit, in terms of what they established them, being rejects. But I think this is also going to be a very, very good film or conclusion of a Rocket story. Because obviously we have the revolutionary who's the villain of this film. Obviously
Evolutionary.
that's a mouthful and everything. People probably don't know who he is, but basically he's
Hmm.
very tied to Rocket's character. He's a person who genetically experiments on people, race of beings, and everything like that across the galaxy. And one of those people was Rocky Raccoon. So,
Not
and
not
I'm
not
seeing it.
not well. You want me to give a little bit of just backstory on his character, just like a little bit, not too much.
Go ahead.
But I mean, as you said, like he was a genetic scientist, and also a lot of people wouldn't know this, but he's also Spider Woman's dad, believe it or not. But he's a genetic scientist who experimented on people within the MCU continuity, Rocket. And as you probably saw from that little moment of like all those animal people, this story is also going to take place on Counter Earth, which is basically another Earth hidden on the other side of the sun, filled with animal beast people. You may potentially recognize the name if you saw the Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon back in the day. But yeah, it's going to have an implication there. We're also going to get, as teased in the last film, Adam Warlock is going to be in this film as well. But more importantly, yeah, this definitely feels like Rocket is definitely the forefront of this film, and with him being my favorite Guardian, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah, so like obviously with this film gonna be a lot and everything for a lot of people, but this film will be coming out in May 2023, I believe. But this will be the conclusion, and this is what James Gunn's words that this is the end of this current phase of Guardians of the Galaxy and everything with this team of people. Obviously, people might die, but also he has another thing, obviously a big task that James Gunn have to do. But this will be a conclusion of their story. But I am looking forward to what they have in store for this property because obviously it came a long way from where it used to be now interaction with the Avengers and obviously with the Christmas special. Spoiler alert: finding that Mantis is actually Peter Quill's brother. Mantis is a sister and
Sister,
everything,
sister.
and that they're related and everything like that. So I think it's gonna be a good story and everything. And just concluding it because
Mhm.
now Marvel Phase 5, there's no time for laughs. At least what they have here, but the next one
Yeah,
we
no,
have
no.
here is what would you say?
Oh, I was saying like, yeah, no, there's no like from what we've seen so far, there's no time for laughs. Like if y'all had any complaints about there not being any seriousness in the last phase, well, so far from what we've seen, that was all put into this phase from again from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But now we got the next film, which will be coming in February 17th of next month,
Mhm.
and that's gonna be Ant-Man Quantumania. And we just got a trailer with the big villain of the next phase or next of this new saga for the multiverse saga of Marvel,
Yep.
Jonathan
In this
Majors.
corner, in this corner, you met him in Loki. Well, you met a version of him in Loki. He's standing tall, ripped like a motherfucker. Not only will he be fighting Creed's ass in March, he will be fighting Ant-Man's ass. Like literally curb stomping his ass. Kang the Conqueror of Time. Nathaniel Richards, potential descendant of the Fantastic Four and or Doctor Doom, the main villain of Quantumania, and the main villain of Avengers 5, aka the Kang Dynasty.
hmm Yeah, so this is gonna be the new Thanos, man. For you guys, if you're not sure about terms of like what who this character, the importance of this character, because you guys don't know who he is. Take my fiance to go see his movie, like who's that? Jonathan Majors. I know Jonathan Majors, but who's that Negro? But anyway,
You
so
want me to,
yeah,
you want me to explain just a little? Like what I can explain?
yeah, you're breaking up just a little bit. You're slowing up, but go ahead.
Yeah.
You good? You good? Go
Okay.
ahead.
So Kang. Yeah. Okay. Again, as I said, Kang by the name, he's a conqueror of time, and he's gone by many names. I mean, as he said in Loki. And I mean, he's been a lot of names and a lot of things. He's been a villain, anti-hero, a hero. I mean, he's had multiple different versions of him. There's the regular Kang, there's Immortus, there's Iron Lad, which is the hero type, which very funny given the fact of Cassie in this film. So but anyways, regardless of that, he is someone who has been multiple things over multiple times, but more or less he's always been a villain to the Marvel universe, a big threat. And for this phase, for Marvel Phase 5 and Phase 6, he is the next big bad. If you guys were wondering who the next big bad is after Thanos, well, we met him in Loki, but we're meeting the real him that will throw hands in next month. And again, this man, I've never seen someone get curb stomped in the MCU. This man curb stomped.
Yeah, there's no jokes released with with Ant-Man and this and everything. It's like he's coming for
Nope, not
blood and
this
all
time.
stuff. And then after he whoops Scott, Paul Rudd's ass, he probably whooped Michael B. Jordan's ass a month later. Yeah, I got all who get this one? I got all the hands. What
You,
come
you
on,
thought you were mad?
you know?
This
No,
man
but
went from
also this dude, first of
this
all,
man went from flying jets to beating an ant down to beating
no.
Michael
He
B.
didn't. He didn't went from flying. He went from messing with demons and shit. And going against the racism and and the Black Wall Street, going through time travel and shit. Now he's flying planes, and then now he's being controlling the whole multiverse. And then he was just chilling in a chair, at the end of time, in Loki and stuff. And now he's going to boxing ring, put Michael B. Jordan back in his place. Nah, so yeah, man.
This
No,
man's had an
this
extensive
dude.
career.
No, this dude. He just been going full throttle in terms of like just as an actor and everything. Jonathan Majors. If you guys have not seen him in Lovecraft Country, um, and everything like that, it's like uh, he's based. He's in also in I forgot what's the other story? Devotion. That's called. That's called the Devotion. That's the film. Him being the
I think so.
airplane, the pilot and everything. Um, but yeah, no, so that's what he's in. He's also in a bunch of other things coming up and everything. He's just a tremendous actor. I'm looking forward in terms of what he has in store. In as King Conqueror, we saw a little bit of that in Loki. But I'm really excited to see what they have in store for him and everything. But so actually going to the next topic and everything, as we're going away from Marvel, we've been going to DC. So we're going to talk about James Gunn, as we just finished that he's directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He's been doing a lot of Marvel movies. He did one DC movie. Well, actually, he did one. He did Suicide Squad, and he also
Peacemaker.
did Peacemaker, the show on HBO. But now this guy has been given the chair of running the entire DC studios at Warner Brothers. Now they're under new division and everything. All the crap that we've been complaining about, they have no plan. Well, he's now establishing a plan, ending some things with actors, starting some with current ones and everything. But Jay King, just kind of give a brief of what's going on with James Gunn and DC.
Okay, so our man James Gunn, we love him for Guardians of the Galaxy. We also love him for those two Scooby-Doo movies, and we've loved him for this redoing the Suicide Squad. And some people had mixed feelings about Peacemaker, but I overall liked it. But now he wears the big boy pants. He wears the captain's hat. He is the Kevin Feige, funny enough, of DC now. He is the one that's going to be making the plan for how things go. And we don't necessarily have the full layout yet, but this man has been basically Thanos snapping away everything else that we've had so far with the Snyderverse. So Black Adam, gone. Superman, who was brought back after Black Adam, gone. Ben Affleck Batman, gone. Flash, once that movie comes out, gone. Aquaman, we'll see. From what Jason Momoa said, there's a potential that he might stick around, so we'll see. I mean, I hope so. Wonder Woman, unsure of right now. Peacemaker, he might keep that. Suicide Squad, he might keep that. But like in terms of most of the stuff, and Shazam, he might keep that. But in terms of most of the stuff, he is clearing the slate for new things, for a younger Superman, for new stories to tell, and even asking people online, like, hey, what are the characters you want to see? We always see Batman and Superman movies. What are the characters that have not been represented yet that you want to see? And like asking, and people are saying like, Mr. Terrific and Lobo and characters like that. But basically, he is laying out a DC universe that hopefully this time, as part of like a shared universe, will actually
Oh,
be better. I was about to say, what frame is that? Will
I was
actually
like, that
be
was sorry.
better.
Struggle streaming.
struggle treatment will actually be hopefully better. I mean, I trust him. He's earned my trust over all the films of him that I've seen so far. And I know that he definitely cares about these characters. I mean, again, he is as much as a geek as a lot of us are when it comes to superheroes. Like, the fandoms that he has been a part of, movies for Marvel, now directing DC as well as other fandoms I'm surprised that the both of us are also interested in. I trust him. I know that this man wants to do these characters justice. And when it comes to DC, so far with what he's given, I trust. So I trust him to be at the helm to let not just the OGs and the Justice League shine, but also let characters that really not the general public don't really know that much about or don't see that much shine. So
Mhm. Yeah, so for those you guys know, with the showed you over here, right here, this is obviously the James Gunn on the left, but this is also Peter Safran. I believe, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's also a producer. But these two are now co-chairman of the new entity in Warner Brothers, which is going to be DC Studios. But first of all, I just want to make sure. I know I'm messing with my internet connection right now, but can you hear me properly? I'm not sounding choppy or anything. All right, cool. Just making sure. All right. Yeah, these two are going to be the new chairman of new DC Studios. So just like we have at Marvel, we have Kevin Feige, who has been running Marvel Studios for like the longest time. We're 2008 with Iron Man and everything. This James Gunn is going to be basically the creative guy and of all DC properties moving forward. All right, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Um, this was in this property they're doing is different from what Marvel's doing because Marvel, yes, they have movies, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in terms of the movies that you see theatrically, as well as the Disney Plus shows being connected in one single entity. Well, this current new DC slate, not only are you going to have the movies, not only that you're going to have the shows, you're going to have the animated shows, the animated movies. You also have the video games, comics, all this stuff going to be in one entity. Now, how is that possible? Well, he knows, and we're still waiting for an announcement because he said that currently in beginning of 2023, which we are right now, that he's going to be giving us an update about the next slate of movies or properties that's going to be coming in this new entity of DC. Now, we've been getting a whole bunch of things too. There've been also rumors about again some actors. Obviously, there's no surprise that is actually not rumors confirmed. When we had Black Adam just came out in October, that teased Superman Henry Cavill coming back, but unfortunately, he will not be coming
nope.
back. Um, yeah, so that's unfortunate. He was a good Superman and everything, but he's not the type of Superman, or at least the version they're trying to use for this new story. So they say they
But
want to go for a
but
little.
yeah, but James, he did talk to James. So even if he's not the Superman that they want for the beginning, there is a chance that he could pop up again in some maybe like Kingdom Come s type of Superman thing. So it may not be the end for him, but he's not the Superman that James Gunn is looking for at this moment.
Right. So it could be potentially in terms of like, put him in a multiverse movie, like, oh, he's just a different version of Superman, whatever that might be. But the thing about this though, that much as that we talked about, much as like Kevin Feige has been an entity in terms of making harsh decisions of what's going on. But we also have some actors who've been known very happy about the changes and stuff about James Gunn, leading the helm of DC and
Mama.
everything like that. And one of those actors is Jason Momoa. One second, I'm about to get uh image right here. So Jason Momoa, he been obviously he plays Aquaman, which the next Aquaman movie will be coming in December of this year. But he's actually been very, very excited to saying that, hey, I got the best news, and I quote, the best news I've gotten in my life, that I always wanted and everything like that. And then as of recently, he was on Instagram, and he was coming from Warner Brothers Studios and said, you remember like a couple years ago when I got Aquaman, I yelled out, and I was screaming, whatever. He said, I'm gonna do it again. It's like, listen, I got big news coming. I can't say what's going on, but remember this day. This is the day, man. Whatever. And we don't know what he's talking about. But there was a recent interview he had with Variety, that where he basically of one of his new shows on Apple TV that was coming out and stuff. But he was talking about that he had meetings with James Gunn at Warner Brothers, that he's happy that's going on. He did also dispel rumors that he's not. Well, yeah, I'm still gonna be Aquaman and everything like that, but I also can play other characters too. What? What's going on? What, Matt? I can be, charming. I can be, savage, funny, whatever. What does that mean? Now, the savage part, that's what we already probably know he's going to play. He's always been the biggest fan of Lobo, which you see this character in the center right here. And the reason why
Right.
Lobo is tied to Superman. He is a Superman villain. So I'm actually have some ideas that might actually be happening with this new Superman, because we also know that obviously Superman being the head of DC, that's going to be one of the properties they're going to be focusing on to establish a new universe or continuity and everything, right? But I'm thinking that it's probably going to happen that this new Superman movie, that Lobo is going to be the villain and Jason Momoa is playing him. So that's what I'm proposing. And Lobo is like a savage character. He's a bounty hunter in space and everything. Very wild character, but Jason Momoa for years, for the longest time, always wanted to play this character. And even if you actually look, in the images right here, he looks exactly like him.
Hmm.
And everything. And even you look at his personality, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. If you know Jason Momoa as just a person, it's exactly the same as Lobo, the character. So this is perfect casting.
It really
And
is.
regardless of this, what's going on, I think this news, whatever he is, he's just happy about just being involved. Which I'm just, as an actor, just now in this space where your career is not actually certain you're gonna go. But I'm actually happy for him. I enjoy him as Aquaman, but I'll enjoy him even better as Lobo. So.
Mhm.
But you have anything else to say about what you think he might play, or he might be animated, voice him, or
I
what do you
mean,
think?
I'm just happy that at least he stays because like I really did enjoy him as Aquaman. So if he's playing Aquaman, continuing to, or if he's playing Lobo, which I think could definitely be the case, I'm just excited to see. I mean, when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, we might have something good on our hands because and I do agree with you, like, especially given the fact that Superman will be the forefront, which, to hopefully break the stigma of like, oh, it's always Batman who's front and center, to kind of break that stigma a little bit. I definitely can see what you're saying about like Lobo being like an antagonist, but I could also see it that maybe it's like, one of those moves where it's like, oh, he seems like the antagonist, but even though he is a douchebag, he's not an idiot, and he might seem like the villain, but then fight along Superman in the end. Because again, you can't kill him. He's like Wolverine. You can't kill him. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely excited to see where things go. But yeah, happy that Momoa is still here. In terms of any others, I mean, again, as I said, we don't know about every single person. We know Soup's gone. We know that most of the main Justice League is gone. Um, in terms of Shazam, we'll see. But in terms of the most of them, they're gone. But I'm happy Momoa's still around. So I'm just waiting to see what James Gunn says next. What's confirmed next?
yeah. But yeah, guys, let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That about Jason Momoa. That obviously he came from from Warner Brothers, and then he got some amazing news. We don't know what it is, but make sure you guys hit in the comment section down below and let us know your thoughts. All right, now this one, I don't want to change the mood. I don't want to change the mood at all. Just as with life, everything. Um, there's situations where there's a lot of people. We lost a lot of people last year, just in terms of health reasons and situations and stuff like that. But thank God, for some people that they're still here with us and everything. um, we haven't had one actor who's also a fellow Avenger, Jackman. He have experienced a very severe accident about a month ago, and everything. He's been in a mounts recovery, and really we were just hearing a bunch of things. Him being in surgery, him and everything. We didn't know what was going on. That he had to lose a limb because he was actually saving somebody. Um, um, Saving somebody. I think I forgot he was on a ski trip and something like that. But thank God though he will be returning home. And actually, we have this image right here that he posted on Instagram that he's coming now. He's going through physical therapy right now. I want to kind of read this article here, but before I saying before I go, can Jay King, what's your thoughts on the situation with Jeremy Renner?
I mean, again, like, as you said, and again, for all of you who don't know, yeah, Jeremy had literally on like the first day of this year, he had an incident where he was plowing snow in his in his neighborhood, and someone got, I don't remember fully the situation, but basically someone needed help. He went to help them, but his snow plowing machine, which he had been showing around Instagram, I've seen the man like post videos about it, moved, and as he was trying to stop it, his leg got crushed. Thankfully, nearby, one of his neighbors was a doctor and got him to the hospital in time. But the man had been in the hospital for like a good like week or so, a good like 2 weeks probably. Yeah, he posted we hadn't heard anything, like we just kept hearing what was going on, and then he posted that photo on Instagram, thanking everybody for, wishing him well. A lot of people online wishing and hoping that he is okay. A lot of his fellow actors within the Marvel universe, like James Gunn, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and such, just wishing him the best. And then recently he was brought back home. He is home, he is fine. But also recently, which was said today, it's going to be a long process for him to be fully healed and fully back to the
Oh
way
yeah.
that he was, or at the very least, like back to a normal person, not just talking about the ability to go back and perform again, for film and TV. It's just more or less like back to functioning as a normal person. Like, he's currently being helped by his mother, by his sister right now. He is fine. He is back home, but it's just going to be a long process. I think one of his close family said, like, or close friends said, like, at least maybe 2 years to be fully back to the way that he was. So, Mr. Renner, we're thinking about you. We're hoping that you'll get through this. Just keep going, man. All right. We like you as an actor. We really like you as a person. So just keep going, man.
Right. Yeah. And I send thoughts and prayers and everything going, send his way and stuff. And but let me actually read this article here from Variety here. This is from 1 second. Make sure you guys can see. You guys see? Second.
Yeah, we see it. We see it.
Let me just want to take the Hey, I just want to take the banner out the way. All right, this is a report from Variety that Jeremy Renner broke over 30 bones in the snowplow accident. He posts photo of physical therapy workout. These bones will grow stronger, he said. This stated. Yeah, this is saying that Jeremy Renner, that on Instagram, that he revealed that he broke over 30 bones in the snowplow accident and that left him hospitalized. Oh, I just sneeze. Okay, we good.
Bless
The
you.
blood. All right, we good. Thank you. He said he was hospitalized with a blunt chest trauma and orthopedic injuries. Alongside info, Renner posted a photo of himself doing leg stretches as he undergoes physical therapy at home. This was a statement from him. He said, "Morning workouts, resolutions, all changed this particular New Year's." Renner wrote in the caption, "Spawned from tragedy for my entire family, and quickly focus on into uniting actionable love. I want to thank everyone for their messages and thoughtfulness for my family and I. Much love and appreciation to all. These 30 plus broken bones will mend, grow stronger, just like the love and bond with family and friends deepens." Renner added, love, and blessings to you all." But yeah, that's his statement that he had that he posted on Instagram. But like we said, to you, Jimmy Renner, that thank God everything's saying is okay. Wish you nothing, but the best of luck and everything. And I just also just appreciation to people too, just like knowing that, hey, listen, like tomorrow's not promised and everything like that. And then anything, any accident or anything like that can happen and stuff. Just kind of just valuing people that you are having in your corner and just be humble and stuff like that. But the next one here, man, and not trying to stay on tragedies here. There's an incident that happened with actor Alec Baldwin, and some of you guys know what I'm talking about. And I gotta be careful with YouTube sensitivity. There's a situation where was on set of a new film, and that he was shooting, and he's also a producer of. That there was a scene that implied of him having like a prop gun and everything, and it basically led to the deletion of one of the women in that stunt women part of that scene, and now he's being charged with manslaughter. He's been charged with manslaughter on accounts in terms of what he might be receiving, not only just terms of a fine, but also actually time in jail. But Jay King, I know you heard about this report and everything. What is your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I definitely like again. I heard when this whole thing went down, like what was it, a year ago, when when this whole like news broke again, because like we know that he did not intend for that to happen. No one even knew that that prop actually was loaded. No one had any idea. So it's like it's very tragic thinking about how it all went. And I know that that deeply scarred him. It's just like one like somehow something that shouldn't have had anything in it at all just cut, the time of somebody close to him and to that production. It's crazy, but for him to be deemed, I mean, I get that there has to be some sentence to it because again, regardless of it being an accident, it still happened. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this, about him potentially being charged for manslaughter because again, it's not like that was the intent, but I know there has to be something to this.
Yeah, there was a situation too that there's also many different things that are coming out about this um that not only that was Alec Baldwin, there might have been situations where there was the prop was of the gun was not, there was actually a full round in the chamber. Everyone actually, have guns, done gun safety and everything like that. I know my father, we have guns and everything, and for some people, you know, um, they obviously important to emphasize the importance of gun safety. But this is basically, I have to say, is malpractice in the film set, and everyone have to either have a theater background or something, because this does not happen. Right? This is almost exactly the
Mhm.
same situation that happened many years ago with The Crow. The lead
Right.
actor, The Crow, he died on set because there's a scene he's supposed to be like this superhero, whatever. They shot him. It was actually a full bullet, and they actually punctured him and everything. He died, and now that property itself has been cursed. Um, whatever, because the whole the situation with this person's deletion. But yeah, the fact that there's not any type of practices that happened before this gun was even on set or anything like that. Why are they actually full round bullets in the chamber on a movie set? That's also another thing. Even when you also are shooting um magazines or blanks, the blanks can still injure you. There's also like many ways of just certain procedures they have when you're pointing at a gun at somebody, also making sure you have the intention of using it. But not only that you have intention of using it, you have the skills and that proper training of handling it. And the fact that this happened is actually very, I'm not saying amazing in terms of like, oh, look how wonderful it is. Just amazing how this actually happened. There's many reports that go on saying that some of the crew members actually left the scene prior to actually the incident even happening. So there was actually any type of people around, safety, ensuring everything was okay. But then also it comes also to a point here too where is now Alec Baldwin. Do you actually now saying feel remorse for him, because obviously it never intended of of happening, but also just saying what the extent of these charges are they're going to go. Because remember, manslaughter is a very broad thing, especially if saying plead guilty, and obviously with that situation, but as well as there's a fine. But not only that, he was an actor in the film, he's also a producer. So does he also gets charged being a producer, that you actually not only have this scene in this film, but also have the malpractice of like making sure there's the train you have a training of people from the gun props, and everything like that. Again, there's a lot of things that's being brought over here, but it's also people begging the question that should he be charged? It's manslaughter. I don't know how you can get no with that, but again, it's just like it's an unfortunate circumstance, but also who's to be hold accountable for it. Yes, Alec Baldwin was the person who pulled the trigger and everything, but then at the same time, what was the other surrounding parties of this film? Like actually, be doing this, and there's many reports that's coming around saying again a bunch of things that people uh were not, have ill intent of like, oh, that just weren't, doing the proper procedures that led to this incident and everything. But I don't know, this does break my heart and everything. Just because, just like, as any profession, it's malpractice is malpractice, right? Not only that, you get fired just for you not doing exhibiting proper procedures, but this incident happening, like, who's to blame for this? So, and I mean, in terms of like a grander scheme, not just Alec Baldwin, but obviously you see this picture. This is after the incident happened, and you only imagine what this man is actually going through and everything like that. But I do want to, send some no, obviously, thoughts and prayers, to the victim's family and everything like that. I also just send, just some kind words to Alec Baldwin too in this situation as well, because not just to be like, hey, here for you, but bro, but yeah, you have to take accountability, and yet he was a person who had the prop and the gun weapon and everything. So, it's just really a messy situation to talk about this and everything, but just want to make sure just to address it though. Um, I want to say, someone in the comments, Gore was talking about, is it possible he broke protocol and used his own gun as a prop? Otherwise, the film company would be the one getting sued. Exactly. Right. That's a good point. Um, Again, we don't know. It's a lot of things that keep going on with this investigation. Going here, I know we have some reports from New York Times and Variety and the Hollywood Reporter. But I know as more things come on about this when this trial hopefully happens and stuff. Um, but yeah, no, this is just a really unfortunate um situation. This was just beautifully animated. She said, I don't understand why they don't disable these props permanently, especially after the loss of I think she said it, Brandon Lee. Yeah, yeah. I I don't know. But yeah, let us guys know. I know you send the comments down below. Let us know your thoughts about this situation with Alec Baldwin. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now I want to, change some things and everything. Now we got through that big swallow that pill. I want us to talk about a big thing that happened last week. There was a show that came out last week, and arguably probably one of the best, no, if not the best, video game adaptations um, of all time. Into with HBO and everything. We had Sonic, which is I'd actually enjoy Sonic. We got we're about to get Super Mario Bros. Everything. I actually think it's gonna be really good. We got we got a bunch of things, but there was a video game back around 2013 um, that shook the nation, that shook the video game industry and everything. And that property is The Last of Us, right?
Dun, dun,
Um,
dun, 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 dun.
yeah, HBO's The Last of Us premiered last Sunday, and we can have episode 2 coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And I want to know, J King, your thoughts on the show. This now also getting a lot of critically acclaim. Probably this show is also more expensive than freaking Game of Thrones and everything, all the CGI shots and all that stuff like that. But what they did in one single episode, they had more viewers they got even compared to House of Dragons, right? So, yeah, what was your thought, J King?
As a big fan of The Last of Us, I've been through I've been through the 2 games. I've been through game 1 and I've been through game 2. As a fan of this universe, I definitely agree in saying that this is so far from what we've had and from what we are seeing to come in the next couple of episodes. Definitely going to be a very, very good video game adaptation series, because not only are they hitting the notes of what many viewers who have played the video games know, and as well as making it, good for a lot of people's first time ever seeing the story of The Last of Us, the story of Joel and Ellie. It's also expanding on it in ways that I'm like, yeah, now that kind of makes a lot more sense. Or wow, I'm glad we got that scene. Like the first couple of minutes, like the first scene, we should say. Kill away. Oh, okay, let me get back on track. The first scene. Let me get back on topic. the first scene with them basically giving the layout. Please take that off. The giving the
Wait, first of
layout.
all, I gotta say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam.
Oh god.
Anyway, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Yeah. Shout out to Dustin on the chat.
Okay. Anyways, but yeah, that first scene basically giving a layout of how this world works. Like, that first scene back in like the 19 whatever it was, like talking about viruses. I was like, oh, why we're starting with this, but it was really a good thing to discuss, like why and how these are different from your typical zombie thing. These aren't zombies, these are clickers, and in some cases bloaters, and how and why and how they operate the way that they do. And then the scene, basically giving us the day in the life, like the day before basically the world changed forever for Joel and his daughter Sarah, and for Tommy and everybody. Just seeing them live a normal life with the subtle hints of things changing, like all the cop cars and SWAT team coming through, someone with the twitching of the hand. I was just waiting for the moment, because again, I've been through this story. I have been through this story many times already. The first game and the second game. Like the second game, we don't need to talk about that for now, because we'll not be anywhere near that until.
I rebuke.
Look, that's a discussion. That's a discussion for another time. Okay, but anyways, the first game, like, just it hit the correct notes. So far, the cast is doing a bang up job. Like Pedro Pascal, I know a lot of us were, maybe some people were a little skeptical of him if he could be Joel, but no, he is Joel in my eyes, because again, I know the character of Joel. He's doing Joel very well as Bella Ramsey. I know a lot of people gave her a lot of crap for being like, oh, you can't play Ellie, but no. From the first word she spoke, she was like, 1, 2, 8, fuck you. I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely freaking Ellie right there. So they're hitting those correct notes. They are hitting the correct notes when it comes to this series, but they're not like, it's not hand-fisted. It's all natural. The way that everything goes from peaceful to the end of the world to 20 years later to how the state is and why the story is happening, it all happened naturally. The characters are making it feel like it's all happening naturally. And yeah, these sets are for, like, again, I definitely agree with this is probably going to be the most expensive than other shows, because you got the clickers, you got these like dirty and broken cityscapes, these lush, lands, all these districts controlled by the fireflies and all of that. There's so much when it comes to The Last of Us from the video games that bringing that to life is going to be one hell of a task. But from what I've seen so far, and again, we barely saw anything like the clickers and the bloaters in the trailers. What I've seen so far, I am definitely excited. They're taking things in the route that they're supposed to while changing the littlest of things, but still ending up in the spot that they need to be. So episode 2, I am ready to watch that tomorrow. I am so loving this so far. And again, when that episode 1 ended, I was like, damn, I wish episode 2 was already here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, first of all, I gotta say this too. This show's fucking awesome, man. Shit, man. Nah. I'm not. I'm not holding that back. I'm not holding this back. Oh my gosh. And listen, and not only that, I've got someone to back him up to bring up here. But I had the privilege of actually watching this entire season before it came out.
Yeah, you got to see it all. You got to see it all first. I'm seeing it week by week.
Me and Ronan and a few other people, we had the privilege of watching it, and I gotta say, now seeing it in its full glory, man, it did not disappoint. First of all, let me kind of get into the really, I'm not saying just the importance of this, but just also the scope of like what this actually means in terms of like the story and everything. Not only did this show broke records in terms of like this episode broke records when it premiered and everything, it's also not only the perfect timing of that, the fact that the property itself, talking about not only in terms of this world going in the dystopian future and everything like that, but also it's also a post pandemic world that we're in. You know
Exactly. Like
what that does, what that
nowadays, that hits a lot more.
and no, and not only that, what it does in terms of the harsh choices that you have to make as a person in this world. The fact that listen, uh I know we used to be friends, whatever, but I gotta make some harsh decision. The paranoia of it all. What you making harsh for your sake, for your family. The fact that not only the fact that you want to make a decision for the greater good, but maybe also you just want to say, well, fuck the world. I'm trying to save this one person. You know, screw me finding a vaccine. Uh-oh.
Uh,
Again, I'm not trying
well,
to
well,
say anything
yeah.
to get
For any people who haven't played the games or know anything else, like, we
mhm.
won't say too much. We won't say too much.
Yeah, but that's it. But before I go on and everything, I got some people in the back here. I want to bring up one person for Ronan. So Ronan here, and I'm gonna bring Mandrell up too, because we're having this is gonna be a discussion. And also, spoiler, hold on, wait. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
There is no
Even
other
more.
way. There is no other way. Anyway, first of all, I just want to shout out to Ronan Unchained and also Mandrell in the building. Thank you guys for stopping by. Yeah, I will start off with Ronan because Ronan, you saw this show with me, and also make sure you guys subscribe to Ronan Unchained on YouTube. He has a good content creator as well. Does do a lot of reviews and reactions as well. Also a good friend of the channel and everything. Good, and also just good, good human being and everything. Good brother, like from another mother, everything. But yeah, man, I just want to see what was your thoughts only this episode.
Right. What's up, fellas? Yeah, this is gonna be nuclear. People are not ready for these next tomorrow's Sunday, so the next 7 weeks. People are not ready. And what I as you can see from my profile, I love that first game so much. And Joel and Ellie are in my top 10 favorite fictional characters of all time across anything, comics, movies, shows, and those two just went up to the top. And what that first episode did is that if you it did was almost I almost compare it a little bit to Mandalorian in terms of what it was doing and what it was presenting. That if you're a hardcore fan of the universe, you're in you're gonna get gold medals and treats for being a hardcore fan. And if you're not, it's a hell of a way to start your journey to Star Wars. And I think the same thing about that first episode. That if you didn't know anything about the world and game, it's a great way to jump into it. But if you play the game, if you know the beats, if you know the dialogue like I do, you will freak the f out as many times as I did. If you know this sounds egoistic, but go back to my reactions and you just see me flipping after everything, music cues, then mentioning Take 71. What else? Seeing the kid with the needle, I was like, I know where that's from.
Bruh.
Your watch is broken.
And yeah, that what else? I mean, Marlene Merle herself. That just I was so happy for her. And
Mhm.
listen, I'm putting it out now, and I probably said it already in our recordings. Bella Ramsey somehow did a magic handshake with Ashley Johnson and gave her a cheat code and was like, "This is how you play Ellie." She it is mind bending how good she is as Ellie, and the fact that she didn't know too much about the game. She heard about it before she got the job. During it, they were encouraged to play it, but them being them and her being very Ellie, she played it a little bit and watched gameplay. And it's saying something like, how can you almost do one-to-one adaptation and performance of that and still giving it your own taste? It's very, very much the same, and yet it has Bella's spice into it. And Yeah, I was never when they mentioned them, the announcement. I was like, I had not finished Game of Thrones. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, she has some credibility because people love her character, but I'm like, she got chosen for a reason, and the guy behind Chernobyl helped choose her. So you know what? Let me give her the benefit of the doubt. And I'm here to say, if anybody keeps bitching and moaning about Belle Ramsey, I have her back now. Like that, like folks, she is Ellie. Ashley Johnson is also Ellie, but it's it's so fascinating. And what Pedro does with Joel, his spirit is there, sprinkled, but we're getting Joel through similar and yet different lenses, which is fascinating to me because it's part of it is from the game, and a part of it is a different side of Joel that we would only hope to see at times. And I think that's what Pedro does and fashionably. And also shout out to Gabriel Luna who does Uncle Tommy. That fool, that is another scenario where it's like, yo, he's honoring Jeffrey Pierce. How the hell is he doing that? And yeah, and I'm so glad they brought back Gustavo Santaolalla. And yeah, let's just say that Nico Parker, man. Oh, again, what I'm saying. I didn't knew how it's gonna start. I knew how the episode was gonna end, and yet, even though I saw stuff coming, the emotion still hit. The new stuff, I took it in like Coca Cola. I was just sipping on that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is new. I don't know where this is coming from. And yeah, I'm gonna shut up before I say anything more. Except hold on to your werewolves.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, but thank you, Ronan, for the contribution to the show and everything. Though,
Yeah.
like we had amazing time watching it and everything, and like again, we're now seeing it full scope, everything, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
now rewatching it, but seeing other people's reactions to it now. It's just kind of like it makes it more real, right?
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah. But apparently we got an expert up in the. I thought we had one, but now we got two experts. Shout out
Oh.
to you, man, Jarrell. And also thank you for stopping by, man. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the Last of Us premiere?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have a. I'm not a movie critic, but I don't know, and I've been thinking about doing my own YouTube channel, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I was thinking maybe being a movie critic. I watch that in TV shows. I watch enough of them, but The Last of Us is a game that I bought, literally purchased almost as much as I purchased Skyrim. So I purchased it on several different platforms.
Oh,
And I played it all the way through each time. Like I played it on PlayStation 4, like several times. Every PlayStation console I own it, and the story I know like the back of my hand, dude. Um, like the other guy, Ronan, I love it. The dialogue, a lot of people had an issue with them changing the races. I did not, as long as the acting is there. Like just like with the new Game of Thrones series, people got pissed off that Corlys Velaryon was black in the show. I didn't have a problem with it because the guy, I believe him. He's Corlys Velaryon. Pedro Pascal, episode 1, doesn't have the look at all, obviously. However, his acting was so good, and I knew he was a good actor. I didn't expect him to be this good. Like, this really shows off this man's range because he's able to pull it off. Like, I saw him, and I was like, okay, I believe you. You're Joel. You know what I'm saying? I believe him. He's Joel and his daughter. And this scene, this first episode set the tone for the video game, right? When you go through this part in the video game, it sets the tone, and the acting had to be spot on. They had no choice. They had to have talent when it comes to acting, and they got it. Money well spent. Very impressed. I did not expect all this. I expect them to screw it up. I really did. I really did. And I was not looking forward to much when Pedro Pascal was announced as Joel. As Joel. I was like, no, you gotta at least pick someone who kind of looks like him. But no, I don't care anymore. It doesn't take me out of the story, And Bella Ramsey, I liked her as Lady Mormont at first, but then they had the writers had her doing too much simply because she had crowd appeal. The audience loved her, And it wasn't her fault. I still liked her. She did her job. Fantastic actress for one to be so young, really talented. And when it comes to her and Ellie, I believe it. She's a bit more aggressive than Ellie is in the game, but I don't mind it. Look at the time period. Look at what kind of situation they're in. You look at the situation she's in personally. You can't help but expect her to be that way. So everything about the way the characters behave and their acting, it all makes sense. And you can't ask for much more out of the actors. You can't. They're all top notch. And the story doesn't need any help. It's already written. And this is proof positive that when you just take what's in the video games, plural, and adapt them to screen, don't change a lot of shit. Make it what you think it should be or your interpretation. Just take it from video game to screen. Look at what happens, Hollywood. Do you see? Do you see? It really is just that simple. This is all we're asking you to do. The work is done for you. Okay? Just hire some actors and do that. Do what's already done. Don't reinvent the wheel. This is your proof right here. This is all we're asking you to do. Now keep doing that, and we won't have any problems. Now, later on, gentlemen, for the two of you who've seen this in its entirety, I'm going to have one question. Okay?
Yes.
That is going to be, you don't have to answer now. Where in the video game does, if you don't want to, but I would like you to, where in the video game does this first season end?
I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah,
See?
I can't.
Okay. Fair enough. Because in the video game, they get into some wild shit. Like, so there's a bit of foreshadowing that they hid in the first episode that a lot of people didn't pick up on. That's when Joel went to see if he got a message from Tommy. And the guy says, hey, man, look, you can't go out there looking for him. There's slavers, raiders, all cannibals, all kind of shit out there. I hear all kind of things in this radio. That was a slick way of foreshadowing things. Because here's the thing: in real life, this is how society would crumble if this were to happen. Like if COVID had gotten off the chain and there was no cure and they was knocking people off like that. Oh yeah, please believe this is what would happen if there was no government, no truckers. You know what I'm saying? No one working at the power plant. People, this is what human beings. If the chips are down and the pressure's on enough, we really will eat each other. Y'all think it's bad now, but you go into an environment where there's no one there, no help, no hope. No, instead of doing what they got to do to create their own society, they come and take your stuff. And yeah, that's what I loved about the game is that there are things that would really happen in real life. It's relatable because it's human. The story itself is human. And that's why the game was such a smash hit. Now to the brother who said Ellie and Joel was his two favorite fictional characters of all time. Yes. I'm so sorry about the second Last of Us, man. I want to apologize on behalf of
let's not talk about
Naughty Dog.
Let's not
yeah. Let's just because here's the thing. My thing with that game, I'd like to pretend like that never happened. Like that's my honest review of it. Like my review of this game.
I will say that I will, even though we get more that like we won't be on for long, whatever. But like saying how we got into something key moments in this, just from the real aspect. I want to talk about this scene right here.
That opening. That set the precedent of
here's the thing. This. Mike, let me tell you this:
the worst case scenario.
When I was in the army, what made this hit me? So, and I rewound this scene my first time watching the show, first sitting, and I never do this. I normally watch the show in its entirety, then go back and rewind and watch certain scenes that I like or that I want to see again. This one, I had to watch it. I watched this like 7 times. I rewinded like 7 times. I watched the whole first scene. My first time viewing, I'd never do that. That's because when I was in the army, we had briefings like this about global climate change and what kind of diseases would jump species. What are the threats? Because there are constant threat assessments at the level of the army that I was in. We constantly assess threats to civilization, and we constantly train for them. We even trained for chemical warfare and germ warfare in the case of a pandemic. We actually trained for that. So when COVID happened, I was like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't surprised at all because like we knew that this kind of thing is probably going to happen if things kept going the same way they were. Now, he started talking about different fungals. he's right. Cordyceps does do that. Like everything he said was completely 100% accurate. And if
That's the creepy part.
right, the creepy part is if the climate keeps temperature keeps climbing, there is a reason for fungal to mutate, and it can jump species to humans. This is possible. What he said, 100%. That it was amazing. I was amazing that they threw this little nugget in here, and this is added because it wasn't in the game. And I'm pleased to the actor that they got the actors that they got, because they spared no expense on the talent. These are all
They really
talented
did.
actors. All three of them. I've seen them in several different movies and TV shows. All three of them talented actors. And I couldn't believe that they showed up here for such a short scene. I was like, wow. It's just, I'm so thrilled and pleased with what I've seen of this show. I really am. And if they're going to continue to just simply, if they did nothing more than simply tell the story of the game, you can't help but be satisfied. That's literally all they got to do. But even like Ronan said, even the small little stuff that they added in themselves, like this scene, right here, it all fits. It doesn't take you out of it. It doesn't take anything away from the story. It was fantastic.
I think Troy Baker said it best. Yeah, I think Troy Baker said it best, where it's an adaptation, but if you're a fan of the game, it's almost more of a companion, where you're again, the plus stuff is, it's not in the game, but it's alluded to, and it's part of the subtlety, which is what I love about the game. Is the dialogue is more subtle, it leaves it open to interpretation more. I figured Joel and Tess were serious at a certain point, maybe on and off. The show deliberately shows not full cinematic style, but like it's telling you, hey, yo, they're close. And I think that here's the thing. I cannot wait to watch the making of this series. Like I'm watching the podcast afterwards, and I just, when I buy that Blu-ray, I hope they have so many special features to be like, how did they make this? How do they make the environment? How do they make that blown up clicker person on the wall? How long did that take to dress? And Mike, I think your mic's
your
muted.
mic's on.
Oh no, I'll put it now on.
Yes,
that was fantastic.
The first time,
wow.
there's folks, if you want to see something surreal and something graphic similar to this, or what Last of Us vibes, go watch a movie called Annihilation by Alex
Oh
Garland.
yeah,
There's a
that
sequence,
is right.
and you know this, Jaking, but there's a sequence that is literally right out of The Last of Us, and they hold on a sequence of that, and it's basically much like this, but it's not fungus, and it is so beautiful and so frightening that I respect. And again, this is not, I'm employing people. This is not a zombie show. It has, it may feel like a zombie show to some others, but it ain't that. And that's what I respected the zombie genre, but it was never my forte. When I first encountered The Last of Us, I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. And the fact that I've seen portions of the Planet Earth documentary, and I'm like, wait, this isn't BS? I mean, the fact that it jumped humans could be BS, and it's plausible, but the fact that ants have to deal with this at points, I'm like, yo, that is creepy, and yet, what a hook. And I like that they foreshadowed so much of that day going down, where it's Sarah going at the shop, and you hear the ambulance, and one of the best lines is she says, "This ambulance is cops," and the lady says, "Oh, it's an everyday thing." And that's the creepy part. It's like that's as day to day as it goes in my neighborhood, and yet it could all flip just like that. And
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing with germs and things like this. Like when an outbreak happens, it's on society. It jumps on society so fast. Like with COVID, like look at how long it took them. Like they had to make a vaccine. Well, the problem with fungus is that you can't make a vaccine for it. You literally cannot make one for it. That technology doesn't exist. Even if you made a vaccine, it wouldn't work because vaccines don't work. There's literally no cure for things like that except like penicillin, which is another fungus. So if that, but the fungus jump species, that's not going to work anymore. So you kind of stuck like Chuck if this happens in real life, and it's really surreal when you think about it. And COVID should have put this into perspective for people. Should have, but I mean, now everyone's such a rush to get back to normal. I was in the airport December and in January, and I was the only one with a mask. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Nobody, and COVID hasn't gone anywhere.
It's
It's
still
still
here.
here. It's still here in full effect. People are still dying from it, the whole nine. But they let propaganda lead them by the nose, as opposed to using their comments, educating themselves. Number one, so they'll know the ins and outs. They'll be at least somewhat knowledgeable of the subject and acting accordingly. People don't care. They just want things to work. I don't. What I have to say about this, dude, though, is like I can't wait. Mike, I wish I'd have known you had all them episodes, man. I'd have paid good money to sit there and watch that. I'd have sat there quiet as a church mouse too. You wouldn't even know I was there.
But here's the thing: I say this because that's interesting. You say that, and I think Jedi Mike and I, who knows, we might agree this. We saw in a scenario where I knew where the game was going, but I didn't know what the show was going to present it, and I saw it.
Right.
I didn't binge it, but I did take my time, and I told the guys I watched them like, "Yo, let's not binge this. Let's max. Let's watch 2 or 3 episodes a night, max 2, so we could devour it." People who are watching it when it comes out are going to have such a unique experience where it's like for 9 weeks you're following Joe and Ellie, you're following this adventure, and that's as close as it's going to get to playing the game in terms of how long it takes. And that's something I tell people, folks, that like even if you're apprehensive, remember, they can't do gameplay all the damn time. There's sequences there for you, but they can't do gameplay all the time. So you have to take that into consideration. And we also have to take into consideration is that for those who were like, no, don't touch the game, it's perfect. I agree. The first game is perfect for me. But no matter how many accolades I can get, no matter how many awards, no matter the word of mouth I can say to my whole family, my uncles, my grandma, my cousins, they'll probably never pick up a control because they're not gamer fans like I am. But what they can do is sit on their ass for the whole day, and they might flick to the channel and be like, what's this about? And the fact that, good examples is, my families are big fans of I Am Legend. Oh my gosh, Jeremy Renner. There we go. But this show is accessible to them, and one way or another, they're gonna experience the story and characters that I come to care for and love. And listen, folks say that they don't look like Joe, they look like Ellie. To me, if they were to do a 1-to-1, it would be like, what's the point? And that's actually in Troy's look and feel and voice. Leave that to them. Let's see what Joel with Pedro and what Ellie with Bella can do. And I'm telling you, the spirit and the soul of that game is there. Different lenses are going to be brought on for you folks, but it's there. I said it from the get-go. It's pretty hard to fuck it up. And I was hoping it's another scenario, much like Blade Runner. I'm like, please don't F it up. But when I heard Denis Villeneuve and Roger Deakins were doing Blade Runner 2049, I said, okay, it's in good hands. When I heard the guy from Chernobyl was doing this show, I'm like, okay, they can go down that path. And folks, I always say this, the game is still there. I haven't touched the game in a while, but I knew the dialogue and sequences. But I made myself a vow. Until the show is officially out, I'm not going back to the game. I'm staying with this version of the story and the characters, and then I can go back to the game. And yes, what they said about the Easter eggs, there's a lot of stuff that might not matter to a lot of people and be like, throwaway stuff, but it's hinting at the future and the bigger compass of the world of The Last of Us.
Yeah, I agree. But I thank you guys for talking about the discussion and everything. We do got episode 2 coming out next week. Not next week, tomorrow.
Does it drop at midnight?
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
6 p.m.
So-
Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, if for Eastern people.
There you go.
But
yeah.
yeah. But I'm gonna say we're gonna end the show. This has been a very good show. What's that? You guys can stay in the back chat. You don't have to leave.
Mm.
Or anything. But yeah, no, this was I've been saying very good conversation we had just about The Last of Us. You know, just in terms of the success of the show in general, but also just where it's going and what me and Ronan know. You guys ain't ready. You guys are not ready though. But yeah, man, I just wanted
y'all seen the show. Me and Mandrell know the game, but for many people who don't know the story, be prepared. Get your snacks and your popcorn and your drinks ready, because trust me, it's a trip.
Mhm. Yeah. 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. We're running. You and me.
So,
you want to say
folks, this was so much fun. Thanks for bringing me on. Anytime I get to talk about this show and this game, it's a pleasure. Can't wait to talk to you guys about episode 2 tomorrow. But just before you guys know, look at that. That if you need, my fan card, if you need to see my validation, which I don't give a damn, but here it is. If you want to know how big of a fan I am, look at that. Look at that, and yeah, hold on to your butts for this next episode and next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no problem. And also, make sure you guys subscribe to Ronan Unchained on YouTube. And thank you also, Mandrell, for stopping by as well. I know you see you guys in the back. But yeah, man, Jay King, thank you for co-hosting this show and everything. We're back, and we're going back full throttle. Yeah, guys, thank you guys for everybody in the comment section down below, guys who came and just stopped by. Shout out to Nurse Fancy, shout out to Trash Can Waves, Beautifully Animated. I love you guys having conversations in the chat and everything. Of course, shout out to you, sweetheart. No, thank you. Thank you. And also, not only her, just she's also one of the reasons why we're going to go into the next part of our phase of this year and everything of content. How, what we mentioned before, we're going to basically be breaking down the MCU in a way for people to understand it. Obviously, there's many content, everything like that, but we'll basically give you the know-how of these properties and everything, from the minutia to terms to like the whole scope. Like, hey, there was a reason why Spider-Man can be in a movie, for almost like 10 years and stuff, because rights and legal issues and stuff. And now we got Wolverine about to show up and everything, but before we couldn't have that because of rights and studios. But now the mouse like, hey, let's buy you. And now we can have, Wolverine in a Marvel movie now. But yeah, we'll explain everything with that, with content coming soon. Make sure you guys hit notification bell on your way out, and maybe updates on videos coming up and everything, and breakdowns and stuff like that. Also, give us feedback about, how this show went and everything. Please give us in the ways we can improve and stuff like that. I'm trying to improve and be better. That's something that we, at least on this platform, like to champion everything. Thank you guys for your tremendous support. Till next time. This is Jedi Mike 7, and this is Jay King. Peace. We are out.
Is there anything you want the fans to know, or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.